Imagine living a life where challenges don't break you, where you're not defined by your possessions, and where every moment feels meaningful. What if I told you that some of the world's greatest wisdom, thousands of years old, holds the keys to living this way? In today's video, we're diving into 15 timeless lessons from the Stoic philosopher Seneca, designed to help you conquer adversity, embrace your true potential, and create a life of purpose. Stay tuned, because these principles could change the way you live, starting today. In the pursuit of a meaningful life, there are certain principles that endure the test of time. Today, I want to share with you 15 timeless lessons drawn from the wisdom of Seneca, the ancient Stoic philosopher. These lessons have the power to shape your perspective on life and guide you through the complexities of modern existence. Whether you're well-versed in Stoicism or new to these teachings, these lessons offer invaluable insights that can help you become a better version of yourself, regardless of the challenges life may throw your way. Seneca's philosophy is not just a collection of ancient ideas. It is a roadmap for navigating the human experience, one that remains relevant and practical even in today's fast-paced, often chaotic world. The principles that Seneca shared with his followers over 2,000 years ago are just as applicable to us now. They offer guidance on how to live a life of virtue, how to deal with adversity, and how to cultivate inner peace and strength. In this journey, we will explore these 15 lessons, each of which carries a unique message that can transform the way you think, feel, and act. Seneca believed that true wisdom is not about accumulating knowledge, but about applying what we know to improve ourselves and our circumstances. These lessons are not just abstract concepts to be admired from afar. They are actionable principles that you can integrate into your everyday life, whether you're facing challenges in your career, relationships, health, or personal growth. These teachings will help you build resilience, develop a deeper sense of purpose, and find strength in times of adversity. The key is not to strive for perfection, but to make consistent progress, step by step, toward becoming the best version of yourself. As we delve into these lessons, I want you to keep in mind that the goal is not to achieve immediate perfection. Perfection is an illusion, and the pursuit of it can often lead to frustration and burnout. Instead, aim for steady, intentional growth. Each lesson is a building block that will help you move closer to the life you desire, a life that is more meaningful, more resilient, and more aligned with your deepest values. Now let's take the first step on this journey, starting with the foundational concept that Seneca believed was crucial for personal development: the importance of challenges in shaping our character and potential. One of the most profound lessons that Seneca teaches is the importance of embracing challenges. In his writings, Seneca frequently emphasizes that adversity is not something to fear, but something to seek out. He understood that growth and development don't happen when we are comfortable. Instead, true growth happens when we step outside our comfort zones and face the obstacles that life throws at us. Seneca was a man who believed in the power of discomfort. He didn't shy away from challenges. He saw them as opportunities to test and strengthen his character. He often said that we don't grow when things are easy, but when we push ourselves through difficult situations. Think about your own life for a moment. Are there challenges you've been avoiding? Maybe there's a work project that feels too overwhelming, a personal goal that seems out of reach, or perhaps there's a fear you've been running from. It's easy to fall into the trap of wanting things to be comfortable and predictable. But the reality is, life is full of unpredictability, and it is in those moments of uncertainty that we find out what we are truly capable of. In fact, the most significant growth happens when we confront the things we fear the most. Whether that's starting a new venture, learning a new skill, or having a difficult conversation we've been avoiding. Seneca himself faced numerous challenges throughout his life, from political exile to personal betrayal. Yet rather than crumbling under the weight of these challenges, he used them as stepping stones to become a wiser, more resilient person. He famously said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." In other words, just as muscles grow stronger through physical exertion, the mind becomes more resilient through facing hardship. Take a moment to think about a challenge you've been avoiding. What would happen if you decided to face it head-on? The fear and discomfort you feel are signs that you are on the verge of growth. So, instead of avoiding the difficult path, choose to embrace it. It's through these struggles that your true potential will be revealed. Remember, greatness is forged in the heat of challenges, and it's in those moments of difficulty that you have the opportunity to rise above. Seneca's advice isn't just about accepting challenges, it's about actively seeking them. Life will present you with plenty of opportunities to grow, but it's up to you to seize them. The next time you face an obstacle or encounter a challenge, remind yourself that this is your moment to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. If you take the path of least resistance, you may avoid the immediate discomfort, but you'll miss out on the long-term benefits of self-improvement and resilience. The key is to reframe how we view challenges. Instead of seeing them as threats, view them as opportunities for personal evolution. When you change your perspective on challenges, you begin to see them as an essential part of your journey. They are not obstacles to be avoided, but stepping stones toward becoming the best version of yourself. As Seneca wisely said, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." This mindset allows you to navigate life with a sense of purpose and resolve. You are not just enduring difficulties, you are growing from them, building a stronger, more resilient foundation for your future. Another timeless lesson from Seneca that resonates deeply in our modern world is the importance of choosing our influences carefully. In today's age of social media, constant connectivity, and information overload, it can be easy to let external influences shape our thoughts, behaviors, and even our self-worth. But Seneca warns us that not all influences are positive or conducive to our well-being. Seneca's view on this topic was clear. A person who has a weak mind is one who allows himself to be influenced by others without questioning. In his time, this might have referred to the dangerous power of bad advice, corrupt leaders, or toxic relationships. Today, this lesson is even more relevant as we are bombarded with the opinions and expectations of others on a daily basis. Whether it's from the media, our social circles, or even our own family members, the voices we allow into our lives can have a significant impact on how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. So, how can we apply Seneca's wisdom in today's world? The first step is awareness. We must become conscious of the influences we allow to enter our minds. Are we spending too much time consuming content that brings us stress, comparison, or negativity? Are we surrounding ourselves with people who uplift and inspire us, or are we falling into patterns of negativity, gossip, and drama? Seneca believed that a wise person is one who is selective about the ideas and people they expose themselves to, understanding that what we take in can shape our actions, beliefs, and ultimately our character. This doesn't mean that we should isolate ourselves from others or close ourselves off to new ideas. Rather, it means being intentional about the types of influences we welcome into our lives. Seneca was known for carefully curating his circle of friends and mentors, choosing those who would challenge him to be better, not those who would simply flatter him or encourage him to remain stagnant. He valued the company of those who sought virtue and wisdom, and he understood that these relationships would help him grow as a person. Take a moment to reflect. Who are the key influences in your life? Are they helping you move towards your best self, or are they leading you astray? Be mindful of the people you allow to shape your thoughts and actions, and seek out those who inspire you to live with purpose, integrity, and wisdom. As Seneca said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. The power to choose our influences is one of the most empowering aspects of our lives. We have the ability to shape our environment and surround ourselves with people and ideas that will help us become the best versions of ourselves. This lesson, if applied, can transform not only the way we think, but the way we live. One of the core principles of Stoicism is living in harmony with nature. For Seneca, this wasn't just about the natural world, but also about understanding the nature of life itself, our human nature, our emotions, and the cycles of existence. He often wrote about the importance of accepting what is outside of our control and aligning ourselves with the natural order of the universe. This mindset, Seneca believed, could bring peace and wisdom to those who lived by it. At first glance, this might sound like a simple, even passive way to live, but in reality, it requires a deep understanding of what it means to live authentically and intentionally. To live in accordance with nature means to recognize our limits and accept that there are things in life we cannot change. It means acknowledging the impermanence of all things and cultivating a sense of peace when things do not go as planned. In our modern lives, we often find ourselves fighting against the flow, struggling against circumstances we can't control, resisting change, and trying to force things into our preferred way. But Seneca teaches us that true wisdom comes from recognizing the ebb and flow of life and learning how to adapt to it rather than resisting it. This doesn't mean giving up or being passive, but rather adopting a mindset of acceptance and understanding. One of Seneca's most powerful quotes on this topic is, "Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant." This reflects the Stoic belief that life's events unfold according to a larger plan, and those who are willing to accept what comes will find themselves at peace. On the other hand, those who resist or fight against the flow of life often experience unnecessary stress and frustration. To live in accordance with nature means to be mindful of our emotions and reactions. It requires cultivating the ability to respond to challenges with wisdom, rather than reacting impulsively or emotionally. Seneca emphasized the importance of practicing self-control and avoiding extremes, whether that's indulging in excess or falling into despair when faced with difficulties. Instead, he advocated for a balanced approach, one that accepts life's highs and lows with equanimity and composure. Think about your own life. How often do you resist what is happening around you? How often do you wish that things were different? Instead of focusing on what you can't change, Seneca's advice encourages us to focus on what we can control: our responses, our mindset, and our actions. By aligning ourselves with the natural course of life, we become more resilient and at peace with the world around us. One of the most powerful lessons from Seneca's teachings is the importance of self-discipline. In a world where instant gratification, distractions, and external pressures often steer us off course, cultivating self-discipline is essential for personal growth and inner peace. Seneca, like other Stoics, believed that true freedom comes not from the ability to do whatever we want, but from the ability to control our impulses and desires. Self-discipline, according to Seneca, is not about harshly suppressing our natural desires or denying ourselves pleasure. Instead, it's about recognizing that not all desires serve our highest good, and learning to choose what is best for us in the long run. Seneca frequently spoke of how the mind is the seat of our freedom. By mastering our thoughts and actions, we gain control over our lives. He said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In other words, true freedom isn't about the ability to do whatever we please in the moment. It's about having the strength to choose wisely, even when faced with temptations, distractions, or difficult situations. This mastery over the mind allows us to pursue what truly matters without being swayed by fleeting pleasures or external pressures. For many of us, self-discipline can seem like a daunting task. The desire to procrastinate, to indulge in distractions, or to avoid discomfort can be overwhelming at times. But Seneca reminds us that these impulses are natural. The key is not to suppress them completely, but to learn to control them. By doing so, we train our minds to stay focused on our goals and to make choices that align with our values. Seneca's own life was a testament to the power of self-discipline. Despite his position of power and wealth, he lived modestly and practiced the Stoic virtues of temperance, patience, and resilience. He was known for his commitment to simple living and his avoidance of excess. Through his writings, Seneca encourages us to develop similar habits that foster long-term fulfillment rather than short-term satisfaction. In our own lives, we can apply this lesson by practicing mindful awareness. One of the central teachings in Seneca's philosophy is the importance of living in the present moment. In a world where we are constantly planning for the future or dwelling on the past, Seneca urges us to focus on the here and now. He understood that time is the most precious resource we have, and yet it is often the one we squander the most. Seneca writes, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This idea challenges the common perception that life is too short. According to Seneca, the real issue is not the quantity of time we have, but how we use it. We often get caught up in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future, losing sight of the present moment, the only time we truly have. The Stoics believed that true happiness and peace can only be found when we are fully engaged in the present, rather than chasing after things that are outside of our control or worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. By focusing on the present, we stop wasting time on unnecessary distractions, and instead, we begin to appreciate each moment for what it is. Living in the present is not about ignoring the past or neglecting the future. It is about recognizing that the only time we can truly influence is the present. We can learn from the past, plan for the future, but we must act in the present. The more we practice being mindful and present in our daily lives, the more we make use of our time in a meaningful way. Seneca himself made it a point to live in the present and to use his time wisely, despite the pressures of public life. In his letters and essays, he consistently emphasizes that we should not wait for the right time to act, but should focus on what we can do now to improve ourselves and our circumstances. This practice of living in the present also leads to a deeper sense of contentment. When we stop constantly chasing after external accomplishments or material possessions, we realize that happiness is often found in the simplicity of the present moment. Whether it's enjoying a quiet moment of reflection, spending time with loved ones, or simply appreciating nature, the present moment holds a wealth of experiences that can bring us peace and fulfillment. By embracing this Stoic principle, we learn to live intentionally, without constantly striving for more or worrying about what's next. This approach to life can lead to greater clarity, purpose, and inner peace. One of the most thought-provoking ideas Seneca presents is the practice of contemplating our mortality. While this may seem like a morbid exercise, Seneca argues that regularly reflecting on the fact that life is finite is essential for living a meaningful and purposeful life. Far from promoting fear or despair, he believed that an awareness of our limited time on Earth can help us prioritize what truly matters and make the most of every moment. Seneca's famous advice, "Begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life," encapsulates this wisdom. By constantly reminding ourselves of our mortality, we are encouraged to treat each day as if it were our last. This does not mean living recklessly or without regard for the future, but rather living with intention and purpose in the present. It helps us shed the distractions of everyday life and focus on what brings us fulfillment and joy. Many of us avoid thinking about death because it's uncomfortable or because we fear the uncertainty that comes with it. But Seneca argues that this avoidance only leads to a life of regret. In his letters, he suggests that we should view death as a natural part of life, not something to be feared or ignored. By contemplating death, we develop a greater appreciation for the time we have and are less likely to waste it on trivial matters. "Life is long if you know how to use it," Seneca writes. This phrase reminds us that, although life is brief, it is not necessarily too short if we live wisely. Time spent on what truly matters, whether that's cultivating relationships, pursuing meaningful work, or working on self-improvement, is never time wasted. Instead of fearing death, Seneca encourages us to use our awareness of it as a tool to focus our energy on things that align with our values and aspirations. In practical terms, reflecting on mortality can help us overcome procrastination, shift our mindset from one day to today, and reduce the mental clutter that keeps us from acting. It also invites us to live with greater gratitude. In a world that often celebrates excess and material wealth, Seneca's teachings on simplicity offer a refreshing perspective. He believed that true happiness does not come from accumulating more things, but from learning to appreciate what we already have and living with less. This idea of simplicity is not just about material possessions, but extends to our mental and emotional lives as well. The Stoics understood that the more we accumulate, whether it's things, responsibilities, or desires, the more we complicate our lives and create unnecessary stress. Seneca, who was himself a wealthy man, often warned against the dangers of overindulgence and luxury. He believed that wealth could easily lead to a life of dissatisfaction, as we constantly crave more and are never content with what we have. In his writings, he encouraged people to cultivate a life of moderation, where they could be free from the constant pursuit of external possessions and instead focus on what truly nourishes the soul. One of Seneca's most powerful quotes on this subject is, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This is a call to focus not on the acquisition of more, but on reducing the unnecessary desires that often control us. The more we can let go of our attachment to material things, the more we can experience freedom and peace. Living simply does not mean living in poverty or deprivation, but rather it means freeing ourselves from the constant pursuit of things that do not bring lasting happiness. Seneca practiced what he preached by living a modest life despite his wealth, choosing simplicity over luxury. He believed that by reducing our wants and learning to find contentment with less, we create space for the things that truly matter: meaningful relationships, personal growth, and peace of mind. In today's world, this lesson is more important than ever. We live in a culture of consumerism, where we are constantly bombarded with advertisements and social pressures to buy more, do more, and be more. But Seneca's wisdom reminds us that true fulfillment comes from within, not from external possessions. By simplifying our lives and focusing on what is truly essential, we can find deeper satisfaction and avoid the stress that comes from trying to keep up with the endless cycle of consumption. For Seneca, the most important aspect of life was not external success or wealth, but virtue. Virtue, for the Stoics, is living in accordance with reason, moral integrity, and self-control. Seneca believed that true happiness is not dependent on external circumstances, such as fame, fortune, or power, but on the cultivation of inner goodness. External achievements, while not inherently bad, are fleeting and can easily be lost, but virtue is something that, once cultivated, can never be taken from you. One of Seneca's core teachings was that a wise person does not measure their worth by external markers of success, but by the strength of their character and their adherence to virtue. He famously wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it in the pursuit of external things that do not bring lasting happiness." In today's world, the temptation to define ourselves by our external success is stronger than ever. We often compare ourselves to others based on the size of our bank accounts, the number of followers we have, or our social status. But Seneca reminds us that these things are not the true measure of a fulfilled life. Rather, we should measure our success by the values we uphold, the integrity with which we live, and the virtues we embody. Virtue, according to Seneca, includes qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are not abstract concepts, but actionable traits that guide how we make decisions and interact with the world around us. A person who lives virtuously does not act out of fear or desire for external approval, but from a deep sense of what is right and good. Virtue is the foundation of a life well lived because it aligns us with our true nature as rational beings. To live virtuously is to prioritize what truly matters, rather than chasing after fleeting rewards that only bring temporary satisfaction. It means acting with integrity, even when no one is watching, and staying true to one's values, even in the face of adversity. Seneca believed that the pursuit of virtue should be our highest goal, because unlike material success or worldly accomplishments, virtue is lasting, and it leads to genuine fulfillment. In a culture that often rewards superficial traits and external achievements, it's easy to forget that the greatest success we can attain is the mastery of our own character. Seneca often emphasized the value of wisdom as the highest pursuit of human life. For him, wisdom wasn't just about acquiring knowledge, but about applying that knowledge in a way that leads to a virtuous and meaningful life. In his writings, Seneca makes it clear that wisdom is not something that can be learned once and for all. It is a lifelong process of growth, reflection, and continuous learning. Wisdom is the only thing that can never be taken from us, Seneca wrote, pointing out that while material wealth, fame, and even health can be fleeting, wisdom is something that remains with us, a guiding light through the challenges of life. Unlike external success, which is often subject to the whims of fate, wisdom is an internal quality that empowers us to navigate life with purpose and resilience. For Seneca, wisdom is not just intellectual knowledge, but practical wisdom, the ability to make sound decisions, to remain calm in the face of adversity and to live in alignment with one's values. It is about understanding the nature of the world and human existence and applying that understanding to improve ourselves and our interactions with others. Wisdom helps us to rise above life's challenges, to respond with equanimity in the face of hardship, and to make decisions that align with our highest good. Seneca himself was a lifelong learner, constantly seeking new insights and reflecting on his own thoughts and actions. He was well aware of his own limitations and understood that no matter how much knowledge he had accumulated, there was always more to learn. This humility in the face of knowledge is a key characteristic of wisdom, as it prevents us from becoming complacent or arrogant in our learning. In today's fast-paced world, it can be easy to assume that we already know everything we need to know, or that wisdom is reserved for the elderly or those with years of experience. However, Seneca reminds us that wisdom is not about age, but about the continuous pursuit of understanding. It's a mindset of openness, self-awareness, and reflection that allows us to grow, learn, and improve no matter where we are in life. To truly embrace wisdom, we must make learning a lifelong practice. Whether it's reading, reflecting, or seeking guidance from others, we can all benefit from the pursuit of greater understanding. Seneca encourages us to dedicate ourselves to this process, for it is through wisdom that we unlock the full potential of our lives. Seneca believed that one of the most important practices for cultivating a peaceful and resilient mind is regular self-reflection. In his view, we cannot improve ourselves or live virtuously unless we take time to reflect on our actions, thoughts, and emotions. Self-reflection allows us to recognize our mistakes, learn from our experiences, and align our actions with our values. In today's world, where distractions are abundant and we are constantly bombarded by external stimuli, self-reflection is often overlooked or neglected. We tend to look for peace outside of ourselves through possessions, achievements, or the approval of others. But Seneca teaches us that true peace comes from within. It comes from an ongoing process of introspection and honest self-examination. Seneca wrote, "A man who has committed a mistake and learns from it is not the same man who never made that mistake." This powerful statement highlights the importance of learning from our experiences. Rather than beating ourselves up over our failures or regretting our past actions, we should approach them with curiosity and humility. By reflecting on our choices, we can grow wiser and more aware of how we want to live moving forward. Through self-reflection, we also develop emotional resilience. When we regularly examine our thoughts and feelings, we gain a deeper understanding of why we react the way we do, and we can make better choices in the future. Self-reflection is not about self-criticism or judgment. Rather, it is about observing ourselves without attachment or emotional overwhelm, with the aim of learning and growing. Seneca's own practice of self-reflection was integral to his philosophy. He often took time to examine his thoughts and feelings, keeping a journal in which he recorded his insights and reflections. In fact, many of his letters and essays are reflections on his own life, his challenges, and his growth as a Stoic. In our busy modern lives, setting aside time for quiet reflection might seem like a luxury, but Seneca reminds us that it is a necessary practice. One of the most enduring lessons from Seneca is the importance of resilience, the ability to withstand adversity and emerge stronger from life's challenges. Seneca himself faced numerous hardships throughout his life, including political exile, personal betrayal, and financial ruin. Despite these trials, He remained steadfast in his Stoic beliefs, finding strength in adversity and using difficult situations as opportunities for growth. For Seneca, resilience wasn't about avoiding hardship or pretending that pain doesn't exist. It was about developing the mental and emotional strength to face life's difficulties head-on without being crushed by them. He famously wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." In other words, it is through hardship that we are forged into stronger, more capable individuals. In the modern world, we often seek comfort and avoid discomfort at all costs. The idea of facing adversity willingly seems counterintuitive in a society that promotes instant gratification and the pursuit of ease. However, Seneca reminds us that real growth comes from enduring and learning to navigate life's difficulties. Rather than running from challenges, we must learn to embrace them as part of the human experience. Resilience is not about being emotionless or unaffected by hardship. Rather, it is about how we respond to adversity. Seneca teaches us that when faced with a difficult situation, we have the power to choose how we react. We can either allow the challenge to break us, or we can use it to build our strength, wisdom, and character. In today's fast-paced world, resilience is more important than ever. Whether we are dealing with personal struggles, professional setbacks, or global crises, the ability to persevere and maintain our inner strength is key to overcoming adversity. Seneca's wisdom encourages us to see difficulties not as obstacles, but as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. Seneca places great importance on the role of friendship in the pursuit of a virtuous and meaningful life. For him, true friendship is not about mutual benefit or social status, but about shared values, mutual respect, and a commitment to helping each other grow. Seneca believed that good friends are essential to personal development because they challenge us, provide support, and hold us accountable to our highest standards. In his letters, Seneca often speaks about the power of friendship to shape our character and influence our actions. He writes, "One of the most beautiful things in life is to share one's journey with others who have the same sense of purpose, the same desire to improve themselves, and the same commitment to wisdom." Friendship, according to Seneca, is not just about enjoying each other's company or seeking emotional comfort. It is about mutual growth, honesty, and the shared pursuit of virtue. Seneca also highlights the importance of choosing our friends wisely. He warns against friendships that are based on superficial qualities like wealth, status, or popularity. Instead, we should seek out friends who challenge us to be better, who push us to think critically, and who support our pursuit of wisdom and virtue. "A friend is a second self," Seneca famously wrote, emphasizing that the people we surround ourselves with have a profound impact on who we become. In modern society, the quality of our relationships can often be overshadowed by the emphasis on quantity. How many followers we have, how many people we know, and how much social approval we receive. But Seneca reminds us that it's not about how many friends we have, but about the depth and authenticity of those relationships. True friendship, he teaches, is a rare and precious thing, and it is far more valuable than superficial social connections. Building meaningful relationships based on honesty, trust, and shared values takes time and effort, but it is one of the most rewarding aspects of life. The Stoics believed that a life lived in isolation was a life half-lived. Even the wisest of philosophers, Seneca included, recognized that we need the companionship and support of others to truly flourish. One of the central tenets of Stoic philosophy is the concept of control. the recognition that there are certain things in life that we can control and others that we cannot. Seneca often emphasized the importance of understanding the difference between the two and letting go of what is beyond our control. This idea is crucial for achieving peace of mind and emotional resilience. Seneca's famous line, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," speaks directly to this principle. Much of the anxiety and stress we experience comes from trying to control things that are inherently uncontrollable, such as other people's actions, future events, or the natural course of life. We often spend excessive time worrying about outcomes that are beyond our influence, when we could instead focus on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and reactions. In his letters, Seneca teaches that the key to emotional freedom is recognizing and accepting the limits of our control. He suggests that we focus our energy on cultivating our own virtue and wisdom, rather than trying to manipulate external circumstances or outcomes. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters, he writes, reminding us that we always have the power to choose our response, even when we cannot control the situation itself. Letting go of the need to control everything can be incredibly liberating. It allows us to release unnecessary stress, reduce feelings of frustration, and focus our energy on the things that truly matter. This mindset also fosters a greater sense of inner peace, as we stop fighting against the flow of life and accept things as they are. In today's world, where the desire for control is amplified by technology and the constant flow of information, Seneca's wisdom is more relevant than ever. We are often confronted with uncertainty, whether it's global crises, personal challenges, or unpredictable events. By learning to let go of what we can't control and focus on what we can influence, we build the resilience necessary to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and clarity. For Seneca, true freedom is not found in external circumstances, such as wealth, power, or social status, but in the mastery of our own minds and the way we live our lives. He believed that the key to living without regret and achieving lasting peace was to align our actions with our values, make deliberate choices, and avoid being ruled by passions or external expectations. Seneca's idea of freedom goes hand in hand with self-discipline and resilience. It's about having the strength to live according to our principles, regardless of the pressures or distractions that might try to pull us off course. He famously said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." In this sense, freedom is not about having the ability to do whatever we want. It's about having the discipline to do what is right, what is wise, and what is in harmony with our true nature. In his writings, Seneca also speaks about the importance of living without regret. Regret often arises from living in a way that is out of alignment with our values, or from letting fear and doubt prevent us from taking action. By practicing self-reflection, focusing on the present, and making decisions based on virtue rather than fleeting desires, we can live a life that is free of regret. Seneca advises, live your life as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. This encapsulates the Stoic approach to life. Live with urgency and intention, but also with an awareness that time is limited. True freedom, Seneca teaches, is about becoming the master of our own lives, independent of external validation. It's about taking full responsibility for our choices and cultivating the inner peace that comes from living authentically. We may not be able to control everything that happens to us, but we can always control how we respond, and how we choose to live in alignment with our deepest values. In conclusion, Seneca's timeless wisdom reminds us that the path to a meaningful, regret-free life is one of self-awareness, self-discipline, resilience, and wisdom. By embracing these principles, we can navigate the ups and downs of life with strength and clarity, and ultimately live with a sense of fulfillment and peace, free from the chains of external expectations and regrets. Seneca's thoughts on time are some of the most powerful and relevant in his writings. He often reminded us that time is the one thing we can never get back, yet it is the thing most people squander. Time is the most valuable thing a man can spend, Seneca wrote, underscoring the idea that how we use our time defines the quality and meaning of our lives. In his essay on the shortness of life, Seneca argues that life feels short because so many people waste it on trivial pursuits or in the pursuit of things that ultimately do not contribute to their happiness or growth. He believed that we should treat every moment as precious, using our time for meaningful activities, whether that's pursuing wisdom, helping others, or focusing on self-improvement. Seneca's perspective forces us to confront the reality that much of the time we spend in life is often wasted, not because we don't have enough of it, but because we don't make the most of it. We often fall into the trap of thinking that we have unlimited time, putting off important tasks, and procrastinating because the urgency of the moment seems distant. However, as Seneca advises, we must live as though we are constantly aware of the fleeting nature of time. This awareness can help us focus on what truly matters, allowing us to pursue our goals with purpose and intentionality. Seneca also warns against allowing ourselves to be consumed by trivial distractions or the opinions of others. Instead of allowing our time to be dictated by external demands, we should prioritize what aligns with our deeper values and aspirations. Time spent on meaningless pursuits is, in Seneca's view, time wasted, time we can never get back. Another key lesson from Seneca's philosophy is the practice of gratitude. In a world that constantly encourages us to strive for more success, more wealth, more status, Seneca teaches us the power of appreciating what we already have. The practice of gratitude shifts our focus from what is lacking in our lives to what is abundant, helping us to cultivate a sense of contentment and peace. Seneca often reflected on the fleeting nature of material wealth and the emptiness that comes from constantly chasing after things. Instead of focusing on accumulating more, he encouraged people to develop a deep appreciation for what they already possess, whether that's their health, relationships, or simple pleasures in life. By practicing gratitude, we can begin to shift our mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others, Seneca wrote, acknowledging that gratitude is the foundation for a life of virtue and fulfillment. When we are grateful, we are more likely to act with kindness, to be generous, and to appreciate the present moment. Gratitude helps us to recognize the good in our lives, even when faced with challenges or adversity. It's a practice that reminds us that no matter how difficult life may seem at times, there is always something to be thankful for. In today's world, where people often measure success by the accumulation of things or the achievement of external goals, gratitude helps us remember that true happiness comes from within. By practicing gratitude daily, we begin to see the richness of our lives, regardless of external circumstances. Gratitude doesn't just improve our mental and emotional well-being, it also enhances our relationships with others as we become more mindful of the gifts and blessings we receive from those around us. The final lesson I want to share with you, inspired by Seneca's wisdom, is the importance of living in harmony with nature. This idea is central to Stoic philosophy, and for Seneca, it meant aligning our lives with the natural order of the universe. Living in accordance with nature isn't just about respecting the physical world. It's also about understanding our own nature as rational beings and using our reason to guide our actions. Seneca believed that much of human suffering comes from resisting the flow of life, from trying to control things that are beyond our power, and from fighting against the inevitable ups and downs of existence. Instead of battling against the natural course of events, he taught us to accept life as it comes, while also making the most of the opportunities that arise. A good character, the one that is in accord with nature, is a powerful defense against misfortune, Seneca wrote. Living in accordance with nature also involves understanding that there will be times of joy and times of hardship, and both are part of the human experience. The Stoic mindset encourages us to embrace both with equanimity, to approach life's challenges as opportunities for growth, and to appreciate life's beauty and simplicity. This acceptance doesn't mean passivity or resignation, but rather a deep understanding that we are part of a larger, interconnected whole. When we align ourselves with this natural flow, we experience a sense of inner peace and resilience, knowing that we are moving with the current of life rather than against it. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, it can be easy to forget that we are part of a larger system and that true contentment comes from aligning with the natural rhythm of existence. Seneca's wisdom reminds us to focus on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes, while accepting the things we cannot change. By doing so, we find freedom from the chaos of life, and we experience a deeper sense of fulfillment, peace, and purpose. Out of all the lessons we've explored today, which one resonates with you the most? Is there a particular challenge in your life right now that you think could be overcome by applying Stoic wisdom? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts and how you're using these timeless lessons in your own journey.